Hey everyone, it's me Chris from Body Nova Fitness Coaching, and today we're going to talk about body recomposition or body recomposition transformations. Okay. Now, as I look at this, I believe that all transformations should have some degree of recomposition to them. So, for it's not just a weight loss transformation where you're just trying to lose the body fat or lose weight. It's not just a bulking transformation. It's a little bit of both where you're trying to build muscle and lose body fat. Sometimes weight is an issue, sometimes weight isn't. But a body recomposition transformation is when you are losing body fat while gaining muscle. Okay. So, so there's a lot of variables that, and some of the variables that come into to play with that you might want to think about if this is something that you're looking for. But before we get into this, I'm going to just say, because most people believe that with transformations, either you have to lose weight or you have to gain muscle. You can't do both, okay? And that's 100% complete bullshit. It's been proven in science, or it's been shown in science. I've had tons and tons of experience with it, and I'll get into that a little bit why or how it could happen. But with some of the research, you have to keep in mind what the person is currently doing or has been currently doing, their history, and in relation to where they need to go. So there's sometimes when people try these types of these transformations, there's certain mistakes. They don't sleep well. They don't take care of their, they don't have high enough protein intake, or they could raise it. Their calorie intake has been too low for too long, and that's a common mistake. The calorie intake stays too low for too long, okay? And they think that all of the things are happening. But on the flip side, one thing that you'll understand is with these transformations, if your calorie intake is at maintenance or slightly lower, you can use the stored body fat as the calories to make up the difference in the calories required for you to gain the muscle, okay? It's not optimal. This is not something you're gonna have long-term success with, but it is something that you can do. All right, and that a body recomposition transformation versus a regular transformation or weight loss transformation, okay? One, with the weight loss transformation, obviously the scale moving is a big deal, okay? In a body recomposition may not be a big deal, or the scale may not be able to reflect all the changes. So for that reason is why I would, one, if I'm on body recomp, you have to take body fat. There's multiple ways to take body fat. You can get in with a Navy body fat test, following the directions. Of course, most people just try to measure. And but you have to follow may not be able to see the changes in the scale, tell the whole story. You just have to use the same light, the same angles, the same, it's at the same situation, so you can see. Because again, the scale moving, you may not see it with a body recomp transformation. So you're going to need different ways of gauging your progress. Okay. Two, because weight loss is the deal, you're going to need a calorie deficit. I do body recomposition transformations in a lot of different ways, and a lot of times you get these people, they'll be on diets and they'll be on low calories, and they'll be on them for very long, or they'll be on a certain type of training of fat loss or whatever for very long. So what I will do is I will just throw in a phase. It may be a phase or two, maybe 6 weeks to 2 months, maybe a little longer, slightly longer, maybe 10 weeks. But what you're going to do, it gives you a break from the variables of fat loss, okay? And you can build muscle, which will raise your metabolic rate and have you burn more calories and have you able to create a bigger caloric deficit on the same amount of calories. You can also gain strength. If you gain strength, when you go back to weight loss, You can lift heavier weights. Therefore, you can also gain strength. If you gain strength, when you go back to weight loss, you can lift heavier weights, therefore increasing the amount of calories that you burn during your workout. So that's something to think about. But body recomp is not necessary. You don't need a calorie deficit. You may want to go to what is maintenance calories for the weight that you're at. Body recomposition versus a bulking deal there. Of course, it's a slower process of trying to put on muscle, but you don't put on fat or as much fat as you do with conventional bulking. Okay, so again, normal bulking, you need a caloric surplus. With body recomp, body recomposition, you can again be in maintenance calories. Okay, again, when I learned about things like this, I learned from Coach Poliquin, and one of the things he always used to say, even though these may pertain to strength goals, this also has pertained to fat loss or weight loss goals. He used to say, never try to accomplish anything. I believe it was 13 weeks. So in this case, it would be fat loss or bulking month 1, bulking month 2, bulking month 3. And then you cut it, okay? And then you would do something else. So as with weight loss, I would throw in a recomposition phase, because a lot of times when people do just straight bulking phases, their body fat climbs with it. So if your body fat climbs too high, you lose the ability to get nutrients. You become more insulin resistant, okay? So you lose the ability to get carbs, for example, to the right place, to the muscles, to where they can fuel your workouts. That's that's an example of one of the things you lose as your body fat creeps up. Okay, so if you throw a recomposition phase in there, get a little bit leaner, you can go back into the bulking, and when you try to use the carbs to increase your calories, they'll work a little bit more in your favor because you can get them to the right place. So recomp, yes, is different than a bulking, but you can use it or use phases of this in your on your bulking journey or your fat loss journey. Let's get into who is it actually good for, who is a good candidate. And again, for me, it's situational, but let me get into a couple groups that would be good for. A beginner that has never been on a structured program. These are the people that are going to get the best results. Okay, because when you're a beginner, you have all these adaptations that your body makes. So anything that you throw at it will shake it up. Okay, so what you can do is you can build your muscle and lower your body fat. Okay, because it's automatically going to give you some gifts when you first start. You can build your muscle, you can drop your body fat. On maintenance calories. Okay, your body can figure out what maintenance is, what it needs to do to maintain its weight, and then you could say, okay, I'm going on fat loss. So you can go on fat loss and then just take away a little bit of calories, 10 to 15%. If you have a high body fat, like maybe a guy over 20 or a girl over a woman over about 28, can use 28% body fat, can use larger caloric deficits. I don't believe you can use them forever. But anyway, they can probably go up to 20% caloric deficit. So that would be if your caloric intake was 2,000. If you're going 15%, that's cutting off 150 calories. If you're going 20%, you're going 200 calories. And you kind of see how that goes from there. All right. But also, beginners tend to not be organized, and they make a lot of mistakes. They're not paying attention to how many grams of protein they're taking in, okay? When you're trying to do a body recomposition, your protein intake is going to have to be at least at 1 gram per pound. And if you're really, really heavy, which high weight, meaning in relation to your goal, and high body fat percentage, then you may want to shift that to 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. But that's one of the mistakes they make. They don't take care of post-workout nutrition, sleep, maybe the calorie intakes are too low for fat loss or way too high to be gaining muscle. So that's something that you would look at. But a recomp phase would be great for them. A body recomposition, it's pretty much the same. All the rules apply. A lot of people, and this is marketing stuff, because if I say to you as a woman, yes, you can slack off and not have to work as hard or not have to eat as much or whatever to fuel your exercise as a man, you can get away with it. So they're saying things that you want to hear. The physiology between males and females with exercise is not significantly different. So, a body recomp can do both very well. It's just where you at in relation to your goal and where you want to go. Okay, so male or female, if you fall into the skinny fat category, which you have a low or normal body weight with high body fat percentage, this is right up your alley, because cutting the calories low can work against you, because usually people fall into the skinny fat category because they have very poor nutrition and or they don't eat enough. So there's a lot of that with people that fall in the skinny fat category. So I would probably at least get a phase or two in of body recomposition, if not just to reset your basal metabolic rate. Okay, so as you gain muscle, your basal metabolic rate goes up. So that's the rate at which you burn calories. When we say basal, we're talking about if you slept for 24 hours. So as you get up, if you have more muscle, you burn more calories. As you walk, everything that you do, you burn more calories. Now, it's not a significant amount, but we're trying to get every little bit that we can to help us keep the ball rolling. Okay, so male or female, it's all the same. You just prioritize what you want to get bigger or what you want to change about your physique, and you set it up. Maybe it's a maintenance calorie thing, or maybe you make sure you're taking care of your sleep, your post, pre, and intra workout nutrition. For all your opportunities to recover, watch the volume of work that you do. And take care of it that way. And again, find ways to gauge your progress. You want those pictures, you want those circumference measurements, or both, and you want to make sure that you're setting the stage so you can see your progress, even if it's slow. Okay, yeah. So let's summarize this. Okay, so as we get into body recomp, transformation is not just a weight loss thing. Okay, because you don't have to operate, or you don't need to operate in a caloric deficit. It's not just a bulking thing, because you don't have to operate in a caloric surplus. Okay, you can sit at maintenance calories, and you're really trying to gain muscle and lose body fat at the same time. All right, it can be used as a break from weight loss or a break from bulking, so that you can use different exercise variables. So as I say this, if you're going, if everything is really high rep, short rest, you can just say, okay, I'm going to build muscle. I'm going to build muscle now. I'm going to keep an eye on the rest, but maybe instead of 15 to 20, I'll go 10 to 12 or 8 to 10. And I'll put in more sets to keep the volume at the same level, to make the amount of reps level off. Okay. You can lose a little bit of body fat and use different exercise variables with your bulking, so that when you go back to your traditional method of bulking, your body will respond to it like it's new, and you'll have a lower body fat so that you can handle carbs like you should again, or be a little bit more closer to optimal in the way that your body handles carbs and moves them around to the right places, when you try to bump your calorie intake back up. All right, and it can be for everyone. Age is not a factor. Again, you can use it to shake up things. If you are skinny fat, you can use it to try to get yourself in an optimal situation, to where you have a little bit more lean body mass and a little bit less body fat. So now if you try to do a slight cut, You could do so on more calories. So that's something to think about. Again, male versus female, it's just all about priorities. You know what I mean? What do you want? A lot of women, you're seeing the trend. They're wanting more muscular legs, bigger glutes. Okay, boom, that's the priority. You make that the priority. Bigger arm, whatever it is, you just make that the priority, and you go in with your body recomp. You make sure you take your pictures and do your circumference measurements, get your body fat, weight, all that right before you start, and you stay on that. I probably wouldn't go longer than a month without checking in on that, because if you take too long between check-ins, it's harder to catch the mistakes before they do damage. Okay, and in body recomp, the scale isn't the only measurement for success. So you want some other methods there. Cardio is fine. Again, I'm partial to the HIIT and using the HIIT, but I may mix it with some aerobics, help mitigate some of the effects of the HIIT, or to make sure you have enough calories burned, because real HIIT sessions are usually really short. Okay, you have enough calories burned to help you burn body fat. And again, when you're starting, you want to get yourself organized, so you know exactly what you're doing. You're tracking it, if you're hitting your macros or your calories or both. You're tracking if you're hitting your workouts or not, and you're seeing where you fall, and then you're trying to build, because fitness really is just all about moving forward and building or improving upon your ability to do work. So in the body recomposition workout, it's the same thing, but in certain instances I do it in a different way, to where I might snatch you out of what's normal for you and what you adapt to, hit you with a different set of variables that also give you what you want, and then put you back into it better than when you came into it at. And that's what body recomposition is all about.